Hello everyone, I hope you can hear me well. My name is Hannele Koivu and I will be your hostess today in this webinar. But first, I want to thank you for joining this Fluido's Informatica Cloud webinar. This is the first webinar of series of 3 around Informatica Cloud this autumn. The ones to follow are about Informatica Test Data Management, presenting a solution that creates test data from your Salesforce production environment to your development sandboxes easily and fast. The last one concentrates on integration services, but you will receive invitations on those as the time comes. Within the next coming hour, we're going to tell you how Informatica Cloud Customer enables sales and marketing to work closer and in a more collaborative way than before. Marketing being a provider of good quality leads for sales to convert into accounts and opportunities. But let's see what our agenda looks like. First, let me introduce you to the 2 gentlemen that are joining us. I have here Greg Hansen, Vice President, Informatica Cloud EMEA, who was really kind to share his time in the end of this quarter, busy times with your team there. Also, my dear colleague, Enrico Variale, who has been involved with Informatica Cloud at Fluido right from the start. He's here to give you a thorough demo of how Cloud Customer 360 actually works. We don't have that many housekeeping rules. Since the time is limited, we have reserved time for a Q&A session in the end of this webinar. We would like you to use GoToMeeting's chat functionality to write down your questions or just simply ping us so we know you want to ask something in the end. We will pick up and answer them in the end. All presenters will be available for answering to your questions for the whole time. Also, the slides presented in this webinar will be delivered to you afterwards. Now let's start. I want to share a few slides of how Fluido found Informatica Cloud as its choice of integration platform. First, let me take you back to the late August, a couple months ago, to beautiful resort Denmark, Marienlyst. It's in Helsingør. Fluido had its annual company day there, and this picture was taken on Thursday evening, just before our theme dinner. Our theme was Alice in Wonderland. The reason I wanted to show you this picture is that us, employees that makes actually Fluido, we are in a good way, a kind of a bunch of goofy people who throw themselves into anything with 110%. No matter whether we need to inspire in business or pleasure, as you can see. There were approximately 100 people there, and believe it or not, no one decided not to wear a costume. The same applies with the business we do. Our customers say that Fluido is the kind of partner whose employees just take that extra mile when needed. And as our partnership with Informatica Cloud has not yet had its first anniversary, I can already see the same dedication of our integrations team than we have in our Salesforce consultancy team. But why did we select Informatica Cloud over the other vendors? Well, Fluido has been a Salesforce partner from the very beginning of its founding in 2010. Our partnership with Salesforce has extended to its current status for us being Salesforce's Platinum Consulting Partner, the highest ranking a partner can actually achieve. It's not a surprise that in most of our Salesforce projects, integrations and questions regarding Salesforce data integrity and data quality just appear. But before Informatica Cloud partnership, we gave customer a handful of integration vendors that had, a pretty good reputation in the market. But from there on, customer was more or less left alone. They have to deal with a new vendor, new agreement, and even a new service provider. And in the end of the day, I think Informatica Cloud being our choice and recommendation for an integration platform, it just makes sense, and it's been very natural for us. We're not anymore forced to stick with Salesforce-related work only, but we have been able to extend our Salesforce ecosystem with a solution that was originally developed for integrating Salesforce. We can provide true value for our customers in offering well-recognized solutions by the leading analysts for integrations that are today in ever-increasing role at almost any company. And ever since we have introduced Informatica Cloud as a part of our solution portfolio, it has created a lot of positive feedback from our customers. We already have existing customers, and we have several customers in a contract negotiation phase. If you ask, for example, from our CEO, Kai Mäkelä, of how he would define us in Fluido, he would most likely say, we're a friendly bunch of cloud superheroes with a passion to change the way companies engage with their customers. That statement has led us to define our mission, no matter where you are, what device you're using, and at that moment, but if you need to make a decision, you want to make sure you have all the data available to base your decision on. No one can expect that Salesforce is the almighty monolithic system to which everyone logs in and submits whatever they have new on customer. We all know the less there is data to be updated manually, in better shape your Salesforce is. That takes us back to the integrations. Your Salesforce must communicate with the systems that contain customer data, no matter where they are in a cloud like Workday, Zuora, or Amazon, or in a ground like any ERP, your backend systems, or in-house applications, or even external sources. The data should be available. That's why we're so passionate of making customer data meaningful in the moments that matter you the most. Some of you may have seen this picture before, but it describes how Fluido makes a difference in strategic and digital CRM and creates a customer lifecycle to its customers. At any project, whether it's about CRM, customer service, or even marketing, one must build a steady and firm foundation first to enable business to evolve with the customer. Communicate with them, have a tools to be proactive, and store the customer dialogues. From the integrations point of view, this requires most likely, to give you a couple of examples, your ERP, financial systems, project management, or even field service tools involvement with your frontline dealing with customers. And there we go with the integrations again. On top of the established foundation, you're able to engage your customers. You may analyze customer behavior and based on those results, automate customer communication through different tools using personalized messaging, for example. We may even want to give our customers the power to process an online order at any given time they wish to our products and services without being forced to our service hours. With the IoT, we're not expecting customer interactions, but the devices to be communicating with each other. It is not that tricky to have a device to create data. The trick is to have it exposed so that it's relevant, it's accessible, and actionable. Because IoT is still lacking a standardization, integrations are done usually old-fashioned way, point-to-point, leaving a maintenance and monitoring nightmare for some. But let's go backward a bit to the part where we enable our business and are concerned with our Salesforce data integrity and multiple identical records. At this point, I want to turn over to Greg Hansen to give his greetings from Informatica. Greg?
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me, Hannah?
Yes, we can hear you very loud and clear.
Good. Right. So, first of all, thank you for inviting me to speak with you. I'm very pleased to be on the call. Our relationship with Fluido is a very strong one, and as Hannah mentioned, coming up to the first anniversary, but we're seeing a lot of great joint venture work with Fluido currently, and so I'm very pleased to be here representing Informatica and speaking alongside you guys, so thank you for that. I was cognizant of the fact that many of you may not be aware of Informatica, so we agreed as part of the call I would just introduce who we are and what we do if you weren't already aware. And as you can see here, Informatica is not a new company. Informatica has been in existence 23 years. And there's a lot of heritage, experience and knowledge in the data management space there over that 23 years. And that's quite important when it comes to illustrating the differences between how Informatica can help you deal with quite complex challenges with data and integration and single view, compared to many other vendors who have just come into the marketplace quite recently or born in the cloud vendors. And we'll talk a little bit about that later, but experience and knowledge and a whole series of investments that we've done over the period of time help us to differentiate ourselves quite significantly against others. So we're currently ranked as the the world's number one provider of data management solutions, and I'll show you what that actually means in more detail in a later slide. But we have more than 7,000 organizations that use our technology every single day of the week, and many of those are cloud-oriented customers as well. So we'll talk a little bit again about that later. So if you move on to the next slide, Hannah. So, of those 7,000 customers, as you would expect with Informatica, our business to this point, to the last, I would say, 5 years, has been predominantly in the enterprise space, where pretty much we've signed up the majority of the large organizations on the planet. So across all of the different sectors, across all of the distant industries, and across all of the different countries around the globe, we have a presence and we have a good logo, case studies and references from all different parts of society and verticals and industries. So we're very well prevalent, and if you move on to the next slide, Hannah, that becomes important to you as customers and partners, because the next element is where do you get resources to help you to be successful. And with Informatica, you can be assured that you're future-proofing your investment, because as an organization, in that 23 years, we've spent $2 billion on our R&D associated to our products. One thing that everyone says about Informatica is our products work. And it's something that's kept me here at Informatica for quite a long time. So we're making about just over $1 billion worth of revenue every year. So, you know, we are a secure, well-founded, well-footed company and organization. We'll be here for a long time. But because we've made that level of investment, because we've got so much penetration into customers, and because we've been around so long, there is a very wide and globally distributed network of people who can help you. There are more than 300,000 developers associated to our products, and our products increasingly are being developed to enable people to develop on top of our platform. So particularly in the cloud space, it's a kind of microservices architecture which very readily allows people to add on capabilities, connectors, functions to our platform to further enrich what Informatica offers as a core offering. In the partner space, organizations affiliated to us who resell, consult, and deliver our technology. We've got more than 500 plus partners, Fluido being a key one for us here in Europe. And we have 3,600 employees currently, so you know, a big organization and a large investment in R&D associated to those 3,600 people. So you can be confident that when you invest in Informatica and you leverage our technology, we're not a here today, gone tomorrow company. We've been around for a long time. There's a lot of intellectual property in our platform, and there's a lot of resources to help you deliver and be successful as well. Okay, so next slide please, Lionel. So I talked about Informatica being the number one and in data management. But if you break data management down, what does it mean? Well, it's not just ETL as the slide says there. ETL was something that Informatica entered into as an organization 23 years ago. That's what the marketplace looked like. And ETL meant extraction, transformation, and loading. It meant connecting to systems. It meant filtering, transforming data, and then delivering it somewhere, be it an application, a file, an FTP, or something along those lines. But the world has moved on significantly since then. Gartner originally had an ETL quadrant. They now no longer have that. They have a data integration quadrant, which we'll look at in a minute. But if you look at the category, the first category there that you can see, thank you Hannah, is cloud data management. And cloud data management is really Informatica moving all of our 23 years of experience of managing data and solving our customers' problems and pushing that into the cloud. That's quite important because within that cloud platform itself, you will see all of our different sectors of capability. And Enrico is going to talk you through one of the key elements that we have in the cloud this morning, which is around mastering data and single view of customer. But whether it be integration or test data management, which Handler also mentioned at the start of the call, or data quality or masking and security, we are the leaders for all of this capability in the on-premise world. And we're migrating that to the cloud now, and it's all part of that cloud data management, for which we are the number one globally, which we'll look at in a second. So next up, Hannah, just click again. So as well as cloud, I mentioned our data integration world. So data integration is really the more modern world for ETL. And what's the difference between the two? Well, to be a data integration vendor, to be the world's leading data integration vendor, which we are, you need so much more than just simply ETL. You need scalability, security, robustness. You need metadata. You need ETL, and so on and so on and so on. There are many factors that help us to be justified as the #1 data integrator globally. So next up there, Hannah, big data management as well, which is a key investment strategy for Informatica. By the way, there are 3 pillars of our investment strategy where we invest our R&D dollars. One of them is cloud, which we'll talk about in detail today. The second is MDM, which is also factoring into today's conversation. And the third is big data. There are sort of huge opportunities for us to exploit the growing market in big data. And if you look at the Hadoop-based vendors, etc., particularly organizations like Cloudera, Hortonworks, etc., we have great relationships with them and a lot of joint ventures with those organizations because they know to make their solutions work, they need data being brought into their data lakes in a clean, consistent, and secure manner. And that's what we can do for them. So next up, please, Hannah. Master data management. So we're talking about a specific subset of master data today, which is in the cloud sense and surrounding Salesforce. But Informatica is the world-leading MDM vendor. And what that means is it's what's called multi-domain. It's not just about single view of customer. Many organizations want to have single view of customer, product, asset, employee, location. And that's called multi-domain MDM. And for both those kind of sectors, single view of customer and multi-domain MDM, where you're managing many domains of data, we are the world's #1 leader as well. Next up, Hannah. Data quality. Again, very much a foundation of master data as well, but many organizations now with the evolution of chief data officers and data stewards and data scientists, the quality of data is achieving a priority that we've not seen for some time. And we invested quite a lot of our R&D dollars over the last 10 years in building out a comprehensive data quality and overall data governance capability, which allow organizations to get a hold of the quality of data within their organization. And we built specific role-based screens and tools that allow data stewards as well as digital data officers to be able to both assess the quality of data but also fix it in a fully audited manner. And lastly, security as well. In this world, particularly when you're thinking about doing things in the cloud and moving data to and from either cloud to cloud or cloud to ground, you need to be cognizant of, first of all, where your data persists and how your data is moved. And again, Informatica is one of the market leaders when it comes to data security as well. And in fact, the test data management solution that Hannah mentioned earlier on, that's a good example of how Informatica can help you secure your data, offering you sandboxes of masked and non-sensitive data available for testing and UAT purposes. So it's not just me saying this as well. If you click the next, thank you very much, Hannah. It's not just me saying this about being the #1. I can put up, if you follow Forrester or if you follow Gartner or if you follow Giga, they all say the same thing. And this is the Gartner quadrants for all of the areas that I just mentioned, be it enterprise IPAAS, which is cloud integration platform specifically, be it data integration, which is the traditional data integration, moving data around, be it MDM of customer data or multi-domain, as I mentioned, be it data quality, masking, or metadata. We are right in the top right-hand corner of every single one of those quadrants. So, and when it comes to things like looking at market share, you'll find that we are the #1 market share leading brand in all of those different areas. Okay, so a very good, strong presence that you can be confident in. If we drill into one of those quadrants specifically, you've got the IPAAS quadrant, and IPAAS means Integration Platform as a Service. So those of you who know the cloud world very well, there are really 3 layers that define the cloud marketplace. There's Infrastructure as a Service, which you could think of as the likes of Amazon and Microsoft. There's Platform as a Service, which organizations like Microsoft and Amazon offer services on top of that, like NoSQL databases and scalability and streaming, that allow you to build applications in the cloud and deploy them. And then there's Software as a Service, like Salesforce or Marketo or Hewitt HR, that are pure applications in the cloud. Integration Platform as a Service is part of the Platform as a Service environment. And what that does is help you securely integrate data to and from software as a service applications in the cloud and maybe other cloud applications, or indeed back to your on-premise applications as well. So whether it's cloud to cloud or cloud to ground, that's what this kind of capability does. Now you'll see we're in the top right-hand quadrant of that cloud integration platform. But my view on this is a very narrow view of the world. The way that Gartner views this is just purely concentrating on how Informatica deals with cloud connectivity. But in reality, what all the organizations need is a hybrid approach to data management. And so if you make the next click handler, that's where the combination of the IPAAS quadrant and the data integration quadrant becomes so important. And if you look at the right-hand quadrant there, you'll see Informatica is by far and away the leader in that quadrant. And if you combine the two, we are the only vendor in the top right-hand quadrant of both those quadrants. So if you click again, handler. So for me, organizations don't just need a cloud integration strategy. They need a data management strategy for the whole organization. And the best way of doing that is to have one platform that can do all of the above. It can integrate your ground-to-ground integration. It can integrate your cloud-to-cloud and your cloud-to-ground capabilities. So it meets all of your requirements in a single platform with a single skill set. And then let's add on to that the other capabilities that Informatica provides, like data quality, MDM that we're going to talk about today, security, masking, and you'll see that from a comprehensive nature, the Informatica in its platform offer much, even just the cloud customers, than a typical IPAAS vendor would. But even in the IPAAS space, Informatica is the undisputed leader. So in the most recent quadrant that Gartner's released, which is March this year, we own 22% of the IPAAS market. Our nearest competitor is at 15%. Following that, the third place vendor is at 9%, and the rest are all just bits and pieces, 1%, 0%, and so on and so on and so on. So we're far and away the leader in this space, so a good choice to invest in. So next up, handler. Okay, so why is Informatica's platform in the cloud so comprehensive? Well, when building a new platform, with our experience, the first thing we've got is a foundation that's existed that we know works and has a whole series of capabilities built into it. So that's the intelligent, secure platform. And if you think about the hybrid world where you need to do cloud to cloud and cloud to ground, this is where our Vibe, our virtual machine engine, which does all of our transformation, be it quality, be it ETL, be it data quality, masking, etc. It's all done in the same engine, which can be distributed into the cloud, into a private cloud, or on-prem. And that means it's the same skill set, same build, same development for all of these different elements. And it can deal with any integration pattern. So that's the first key part of our platform. Whether it be real-time, whether it be streaming, whether it be batch, we can deal with all of those types of different integration patterns, even unstructured data. It can deal with any data, so whether it's relational data, whether it's unstructured data, whether it's data coming from in real time, we have connectivity and capability to extract in a native format from virtually any ERP system out there, virtually any market-leading software as a service vendor, and all of the different types of standards that you may come across in your different vertical industries, like Swift in financial services as a messaging capability, or Edifact in retail, and so on and so on. So we can deal with any data out of the box. And most importantly, particularly in the cloud space, is any user. So this is not just about supporting IT developers, but this is about providing a platform that both IT and business can work in the same audited framework. And so if you want a very simple, click-click, wizard-driven approach to integration, you can expose that out to business users who can handle that. Or if you want the traditional, deep dive technical view of how to integrate data, then we also provide all the user interfaces for the more technical audience as well. So any integration pattern, any user, any data built upon a platform that's been in existence for 23 years, which can be distributed in a fully scalable and robust manner at the click of a button. So next slide, please, handler. So just some numbers in regards to the cloud as well, just to secure your thinking around, Informatica's market leadership. Look at the top right-hand corner. Informatica, every month, we process more than 300 billion rows of data for our customers, and that's growing at about 130% year on year. So our market share will actually increase, I would predict, year on year over our next competitor. We do about 1 million jobs per day with our cloud customers, and we've got about 4,500 IPAAS customers. So that's the integration customers around cloud. Our cloud business itself, which encapsulates IPAAS and CC360 that we'll talk about today, that's greater than $100 million. So that's a big software company in its own right, and it's the biggest growing part of Informatica. And that's the reason why I'm in the position I'm in, because I specifically wanted to invest my time looking at cloud and helping Informatica's cloud business grow. And although we'll talk about Salesforce today, it's not just about Salesforce. We've got connectivity to more than 150 different ecosystems, and of those 7,000 customers that I mentioned earlier on, we've got presence and reference and public case studies around all of the different types of ecosystems that exist in the cloud. And lastly, we've got very happy customers, 98% renewal rate, which in the cloud world is a phenomenal statistic. You will probably find that the average is around the mid-80s in terms of renewals. So people are buying our technology and then they continue to use it, and that's because it works, as I said right at the start. Last thing I'll mention is right in the middle, IPAAS integration templates. The reason why I mention that is, again, with our level of experience, we've built a lot of domain IP and reusable content that can be shared for you, your customers, your partners, and your developers. And that means that we can accelerate your time to market because we've already done a lot of this thing before. So you can build your data management strategy on a whole series of templates. So that's me done. I'll be available at the end just to answer any questions anyone has for me specifically, but I'll hand it back to Hannele, and then we'll move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. And so let's get to the subject, Cloud Customer 360. I'll share a few slides. I try to keep this slideware to the minimum, just introducing what it is and how does it work. And I want to give Enrico the biggest time slot for his demo. Well, first of all, when talking about Informatica Cloud, as Greg already mentioned, we're talking about a solution platform that is delivered from the cloud. It's not only about Informatica delivering integration platform, but also a couple of applications that are very closely tied with Salesforce. Well, the integrations first, we talk about traditional data integration, data flowing from one source to the other. And of course, the data can be aggregated, conditionalized, enriched depending on various attributes. But yet, that data integration is more or less about moving data from A to system B. Well, once the data is needed as a part of a process flow, the data must be available real time. Then again, we talk about data integration, but with an add-on cloud real time. I think a good example would be a case in which customer is placing an order through Community and collects daily product prices from your backend pricing tool. You simply just cannot expect customer to wait a few minutes or until the next day to proceed with his or her order. The data must be processed real time with the request. The test data management is more or less a blessing to any Salesforce administrator. It's difficult to see the value of it unless you've been involved with any Salesforce development project and waited for some test data to be imported to your sandbox. The more complex data relations there are, the more time our consultants need to spend in creating the data sets. But plus, in many cases, production data is the same than testing, which may actually create a security issue. You may want to consider masking the data so that the data structure is there, but the data itself is phony. With the test data management tool, you can spend actually only hours instead of days in creating the test data. Test data will be a subject to our next webinar. Data quality is about data cleansing and deduplicating your existing Salesforce database. The product is called Cloud Customer 360. It identifies from any Salesforce object duplicates, which may be either merged manually or automatically. But I leave that how it's working and how it's done for Enrico for a little later. And if you do not wish to let duplicates in your Salesforce in the first place, then you might want to consider Cloud Master Data Management, or Cloud MDM as we like to call it. Cloud MDM, in Cloud MDM, all source systems are integrated with Salesforce through your Cloud Customer 360. With that tool, your Salesforce database is clean, consolidated with external sources, and data corruption is not likely to happen. But like I said, in our today's webinar, we concentrate on data quality, cloud data quality solution as a Cloud Customer 360, what we call. Well, the typical Salesforce lifecycle looks like this. It's quite usual to start with one cloud. It's either Sales Cloud or Service Cloud. It's probably from one team or from one country. And, data coming in and going in is done more or less manual, and it just works just fine. But what happens quite soon is that the initial implementation, when it's been up and running for a while, new employees have joined. Perhaps even trainings are not followed as strictly anymore, and because there's no training anymore, or less trainings, the rules are not obeyed as strictly as they were used to. So, internal duplicates checks are just not done. User creates duplicates sometimes because they don't know how not to, or sometimes they just don't care. And there are companies that actually reward their employees for creating new contacts, but at the cost of data quality. Very soon we're in a situation as more users get involved. Salesforce has been in use for a while, and a need for integrations appear. It would be nice to get invoicing data or order data or customer asset data from external sources. That data would just simply enrich Salesforce database for marketing and, of course, improve sales. Again, in many cases, data quality is forgotten. I could continue like this from on, and the snowball just gets going. The more integrations, more clouds, more users, even several Salesforce orgs, and all of a sudden we're in a situation in which Salesforce data is no longer reliable. There's no common way of working, and we can quite often hear that it's Salesforce's fault. Well, of course, Salesforce is not all Salesforce implementations are not done like this. Each implementation is different from each other, and different problems occur at different stages in the life cycle. But what we've seen in many cases, there are the common pains. The users they really don't record the information. They just don't find the reason why. They cannot find the right information because it's just not there. And in the end, users forget what to do. There may be even too much data volume, and there are a lot of records that have data missing. Fields may have values, but it's it's junk or invalid. How many have you seen the email address, don't use this? So the data needs to be fixed somehow. With a Cloud Customer 360, that is a 100% native Force.com application. It's utilizing Salesforce's pre-built architecture and a Force.com application ecosystem. It's not separate from your local Salesforce org, but inherits all your security and role-based permissions. And it's a rather quick time to value. Instead of spending months of getting this up and running, we talk about weeks. And this is actually a pretty good return on investment. And now what have been said here is that when talking about data quality, we mention items like incomplete or inaccurate data. We want to talk about deduplicating the data. We may even want to validate data with different addresses or emails or phone numbers with validation services from external or so. And this leads us to more advanced lead conversion rates. Consolidation of data is addressed to disjointed systems that simply create fragmented data. You may even have multiple Salesforce orgs, but there's no data standardization, for example, in place. You may want to enrich the data, for instance, with DMB or other public data sources or internal sources of customer data. They may be even either on-premise or in the cloud. Hierarchy management talks about creating more robust customer relationships and multiple or even multidimensional hierarchies. You're able to relate any accounts in this number of different ways. The way we see Cloud Customer 360 in Fluido is specifically for marketing. Our customer use case is really about marketing. Our customers use a wide variety of different marketing automation tools. It really doesn't matter which tool we are talking about, from MailChimp to Marketing Cloud, ExactTarget, or from HubSpot to Eloqua. They all suffer from poor Salesforce data quality. Marketing automation's tool purpose, most of all, is to create leads to sales. Leads are supposed to be connected with an existing Salesforce contact. And if there's not such a perfect match in emails, if there's no match, the marketing automation tool should create a lead. Lead is then later on qualified and converted into contacts, accounts, and opportunities. That's pretty straightforward. But the challenge is that if you have 3 or more exact email matches in your Salesforce database, the poor marketing automation tool does no longer know what to do. It does not know which contact to connect with it. But it also cannot create a lead either, because it somehow recognizes that it should do something else. Therefore, since the Nordics have been quite early adopters of marketing automation tools, we want to present you this magnificent tool that will help you to get rid of these duplicates and let your marketing keep sending in those leads for your sales. And at this point, I'll give the speaker to you, Enrico. Go ahead, and I'll give the presenter rights. Just a second.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Today's demo is what is all right. Here it's my. All right. Good morning, everyone. Today's demo is about how to duplicate data in your Salesforce environment using Informatica CC360 application. In this specific business use case, we will have a look at how to identify, eliminate, and prevent duplicate contact records. So let's get it started. I will now navigate to my CC360 application, post.com menu, Cloud Customer 360. This application has a number of tabs, and I'm just going to go through some of these. CC360 Admin is the main tab. It provides access to all the application features. This is where you would run CC360 jobs to perform tasks such as checking for duplicates, data matching, and consolidation. I can select here my job, duplicate contact check, run now button, But you can also schedule jobs, and here you have all scheduling options. So let's say you want to run your job every 2 hours, or it could be, for example, a daily job. Here we have the batch queue section. Once you are running or you have run a job, it will appear here so that you can view completed jobs or monitor the running CC360 jobs. Okay, let's talk now a bit about the application architecture. CC360 does two unique things. First is that it deploys a complete business package inside your Salesforce environment. This package includes a fuzzy matching engine and a consolidation and enrichment engine. The second thing that this application does is to create a staging area inside Salesforce. The staging area contains bin and master bin records. So what are bins and master bins? They are essentially containers for data. CC360 migrates information from your contact bin records and master bin records so that you can deduplicate, clean and consolidate data in your staging area without slowing down your business processes and having to lock records. In this example, I have an account and 2 contacts. During their migration to the staging area, CC360 will create for each account and contact a bin and 1 master bin record. So it will copy account, contact information to each bin and master bin records. A master bin maintains the relationship for all bins included in the family group, and master bins also link the related contact bins and lead bins to the account. Let's go back to the application. So before to run the duplicate contact check job here, to identify duplicate contacts, we need first to migrate our contact records in the CC360 staging area. We have a migrate contact job to perform this migration. For this demo, I've already migrated a few contacts to the staging area. Using the bins tab, we can view all bin records related to my contacts. Each synchronized contact record in CC360 has now a corresponding bin record. And the bin record contains contact information. So here we have, for this specific bin, first name, last name, address, and here we can see that this bin is related to this specific contact record. Alright, so now we are ready to run the duplicate contact check job to detect the duplicate contact records in the staging area. I will go back to Cloud Customer 360 console. I will select duplicate contact check job and I will run it now. It's running. Here we have the status. Alright, completed. The duplicate contact check job compiles a list of duplicate pairs. You can access this list using the other duplicates tab. So here we have all our duplicate contacts. I will now open a duplicate pair. Each duplicate pair consists of a master record and a duplicate record. Master and duplicate are bins, but of course these bins are related to contact records. So here we have my contact information, master contact and duplicate contact here on the other side. So the duplicate contact check job match a bin against other bins to identify the duplicate contacts. So how CC360 is identifying these duplicate records? It has a fuzzy matching engine that finds relationship between records and identifies potential duplicates. So fuzzy logic is used to compare data that is not exactly the same but has similar patterns. Let's go over now to the fuzzy matching tab. The fuzzy matching tab allows you to select and compare two records. Here we have object A, object B. I will account, lead, contact. I will select now contact. We want to compare contact records. Matching settings, contact matching settings. Okay, now I will select two contacts so that we can compare them. First one. The other contact, I will click compare. So, what is fuzzy matching? It's the process of comparing records. It uses a combination of fuzzy logic and exact matching. The detailed section here is showing the results for our fuzzy matching comparison. The fuzzy matching engine compares records field by field and assigns a score for each field match. We have here an exact match for the email value, so score is 100. First name for these contacts are similar, so the score is 61. Then we have the weighting column. You do have control over. Field weightings, the terms impact each field based on the comparison process. So the score, this column is returned by the fuzzy logic algorithm, and this is something that you don't have control over. But then we can control the impact that each field does as on the comparison process using the field weightings. So we will end up with what is called a weighted score, and then all this weighted score get added all together, and they will give you the total score that is showed here up in the summary section. So CC360 considers records as duplicates if the records have a total score that exceeds the duplicate threshold. So that's our total score, 296. That's our duplicate threshold. And you can configure the duplication rule, basically controlling field weightings and threshold values. So where you can access all these settings. CC360 console, run the setup wizard, and you can access all fuzzy matching settings here. The duplication, contact settings. So here, by experimenting with changing field weightings, null scores and threshold values, you can control the duplicate detection. Here on this page we have all contact fields, so that I can assign my field weightings. Can be a value between 0 and 200. And null score settings determine how CC360 calculates the field score when one field in one of the records being compared is null. Here I can set also my duplicate threshold for the fuzzy matching engine. Alright, now I'm going to talk about analyzing and merging duplicate records. So once you have identified potential duplicates using CC360, what sort of actions you can take? So before you even consider merging your duplicates, you want to make sure you analyze them. Ownership of this process might be different from company to company. It could be the data steward or the Salesforce administrator. Whoever owns this process needs to create some pretty detailed duplicate records so that you have what you need in order to make the determination whether or not the records are duplicates. So that is the first step. Next thing you are going to do is to identify and mark records that are not duplicates. And then if necessary, you can toggle the master record. Let's go back to the duplicate list now. This is an example of duplicate pair. In a duplicate pair of records, Cloud Customer 360 consider this first record as a master and the second as a duplicate. You can toggle. Using the toggle master function, you can switch which record is marked marked as master. And then you can also mark this pair here as a not a duplicate pair. So this is not a duplicate. Well, how to merge these duplicate records? In CC360 we got a merge contact job. You can run the merge contact job to eliminate the duplicate records in the duplicate pair. So this job deletes the duplicate record in the duplicate pair and keeps only the master record. If a duplicate record has child records, nodes, attachments, and activities associated with it, the merge operation associates this with the master record. But what if the duplicate record contains data that is not in the master record, for example, a phone number? Then the data is lost when you automatically merge the records. So you can perform a manual merge to preserve data in a duplicate record. How to perform a manual merge? I will now navigate to my contact. One contact example. On the record detail page, you can see duplicates identified by CC360. It not allows you to see duplicate record, but it also has buttons to merge the record, toggle the master, and mark a contact as not a duplicate. So here I have my main contact, and here is the duplicate. I can select the duplicate record and click the merge button, and here I have my merge feature. This is the standard Salesforce merge feature. On this page I can view the information about each contact side by side, and I can select winning data from the contacts that I'm about to merge. So I see that from this contact the name is the correct one. On the other one I can select maybe the title is better here. I select the informations and then I will click merge. Alright, let's go back to the contact. So we have deleted the duplicate record. As you can see now, in the duplicate contact section shows the message no duplicate found. Last but not least, how to prevent duplicate data. Generally, when an end user goes to create a new record, they go to the new contact page, and when they click save, it just saves the record regardless of whether there are similar records in the database. Of course, this can result in a lot of duplicate data, so a better alternative then is to utilize CC360 point of entry controls, so that each new record entered is checked for potential duplicates. I will now use the CC360 point of entry controls to create a new contact record. So contact information, first name, last name, email address, create contacts. On save, CC360 runs the duplicate check job for the new record and ensure clean data from the start. It immediately blocks the creation of the contact, notifying me of existing records, even if I have spelled some information incorrectly. And in fact, here I can see also the score for this record comparison from the fuzzy matching engine. All right, that's all from me.
So, thank you, Enrico. I'll just switch back to my screen. And then there we go. So I hope you have enjoyed this webinar, and now it would be a good time to ask questions. I would like you to, if you have already a question in your mind, just ping in chat, and we'll give you this audience, and yes, the audience. Any questions? Well, if not, I want to thank you for joining this webinar. The material sent will be delivered to you afterwards. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact. We'll be right here with the Fluido, and we'll send you also our contact details. Also, we'll be contacting you ourselves afterwards. Thank you very much, and have a great day.